Welcome back, folks, to the 2016 Canadian University Ultimate Championships live from Montreal. We have your women's division final here, rematch of the men's division, Queens versus Toronto. And on the far side, we have the bronze medal match, McGill and Western. And right now, we're joining this in the very first point of action. Score is 0-0. Both teams undefeated at this tournament, deservedly in the final. And look no further to one of the reasons right there, throwing the disc, Laura Kinoshita for Queens. Really, really solid player, youngster out of the Toronto area. She'll be looking to be super dangerous all game long. In the booth, Miriam Tingle joining me, Kevin Underhill, for this game. Should be an exciting final. We just witnessed the Toronto-Queens final. Queens in the men's division took down Toronto 12-7 in the hard cap, and Queens celebrating their second in a row. And right now, Toronto starts it off with a block, and they've got a chance in an early break.
Nice D from Alin Azucena. Queens had pretty good offense there. Nice run through D. Big throw over to Chan. Azucena with the disc. To Yang. Yang finds Hayworth. Hayworth to Yang.
See Queens come out here on their defensive O point here. They're looking to do some person-on-person coverage as this gets back into Yang's hands.
Carolyn Wu coming under. Yang doesn't like it. Around to Tran. Selena Tran for U of T.
Ooh, Kinoshita trying to get in there. Instead, they're going to air it out, looking
Chan
for
throws
Dos
it deep.
Santos. Azucena with it now. Flips to Dos Santos right on the goal line. Dos Santos, Azucena lays out. What a grab!
Whoa.
Great play, Aline Azucena. Aline Azucena, layout grab. And Toronto breaks to start this game off. They take the lead 1-0.
Nice movement from U of T.
Queens largely regarded as one of the favorites. Of course, so is Toronto. Toronto jumps out into a one-goal lead here. We've seen lots of good play this week in both divisions. It's been super exciting bringing you fully streamed matches from the university championships here, 2016. And what better match to finish it all off? Queens, Toronto, two undeniably best teams in the women's division. Both teams have so many great players, and right now it's Queens who's down 1-0 in the early goings of this one. Queens set to receive.
Laura Kinoshita with the disc for Queens.
Rain really coming down now.
Queens to Lee
Lee Pai now with it. Back to Kinoshita. Lee Pai played on the national junior women's team that won a gold medal in Poland this year. No doubt a huge pickup for this Queens squad. She's running the lanes. Kinoshita goes up line.
Covered by Dos Santos.
That'll be a matchup to watch. Just out past the outstretched hands. Lee Pai, she couldn't quite bring it in. Guarded tightly there by Vernie Aguda there on the defensive pressure. And Queens maybe just feeling a little bit of the pressure. Lauren Kimura is going to tap the disc in here for Toronto.
Rain coming down really hard now.
Kimura, one of the strongest players in the women's division at this event. She's been around. She played for McGill earlier in her career, has made her mark out west, playing for Traffic BC. Went to high school in British Columbia. High-level hockey player, played varsity hockey over at McGill, and right now she's showing her stuff on the ultimate field. Right now it's Queens. Lee Pai with it now. Looking into the backfield. Instead goes to Dos Santos covering Kinoshita. Stays in bounds. Really nicely done.
Nice grab from Kinoshita. Way to keep your feet in bounds.
And that's the type of play you're going to get from a stalwart player like Kinoshita. You know, she can go every other with give goes, but she can also strike up the line and make big toe-line grabs. Really well done around.
Normally a cutter. It's nice to see her in a handler position for Queens. A little bit of an overshot from Lana Remick.
Kimura with it now.
Picking up.
Isolated Dos Santos in the middle. Probably wants the deep shot. Sure enough, there it is. Just a little too far. Split the difference there between Chan and Dos Santos. Both had steps on the receiver and just right through the middle. Both even had potentially a bit on that. Nice look from Kimura, just couldn't quite bring it down. But you know what, Miriam? I like that look because now they're forcing Queens to go, the full 70 yards for this goal. And Kinoshita taps it in, looking for Lee Pai in the lanes. Rain really coming down now as it's been happening on and off all day, but now it's really on, we could definitely say.
Big D from Too Good. Yang picking up for UFD.
And I think these points under these tough conditions are so important because as the game wages on, the points get tougher and tougher to score. If you can get a few out of the way now, and if the rain and wind really keep up, it's going to be tougher to make a comeback. And right now, Toronto's going to try to get ahead by 2. They lead 1-0. Nice inside shot
Nice
there.
throw.
Chan with it now. Chan over the top. Kimura, all kinds of time, and scores. Number 20, Lauren Kimura. Chan with the assist. Toronto bursts into a 2-0 lead. And, what more can we say? That's Queens O-lines had trouble going both directions, and no doubt the conditions playing a factor. But both teams are good enough here to make it happen in the rain. They're just going to do their best, of course. Makes it a lot trickier, but teams have seen worse. This is the University Championships, of course, out in Montreal. Seen worse weather than this before. And this is probably standard, actually, when it comes to it. Queens trails 2-0. Kinoshita walks out there with Ramick. The rest of the usual suspects for Queens. They're going to try to work this downwinder in. They need to get on the board, Miriam.
They do. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Kinoshita's on every point.
Yeah, this is the national championship final anyway. Not really saving yourself for much after this.
Nah, I mean, what's she got to lose? Just don't break a leg.
Toronto, we saw, very deep squad. We got a chance to do one of their games yesterday. A very good game, actually, against the University of Western Ontario. They did have a few injuries earlier in the week. And notably Karen Chan went down with a head injury yesterday. It doesn't look like she's returned today. We'll have to give you an update on that if we can. But get you right back down to the action. Kimura with the big pull. Ramick.
Carrie Lake picking up. Back to Lake. Lake looking for Ramick. Kinoshita going deep. Atlanta pumps the deep. Back to Lake. Ran to Kinoshita. She gets up.
Rain now at its hardest point it's been all week. Back to the middle. Lake has it. Lake looking upfield. Good defensive play. Bid by Ramick. Can't quite bring it down.
Nice run through D from Alin Azucena.
Rain really coming down in droves now. Not sure if it's showing up on the video feed, but it's coming down. Kimura with it in the middle. Kimura played a lot in Vancouver. Sure, she's used to the rain.
Zhang with it in the middle.
Dish back, Yang. Low release shot to Dos Santos. Certainly fouled there by Ramick. A little bit of contact. Looks like a small discussion. I don't think Ramick's going to have anything to contest there. As the broadcast tent fills up here, Montreal, rain is really coming down. Not much shelter out here by the showcase field. Disc tapped in by Yang. Yang looking upfield, taking the time to wipe her hands. Hits Kimura under, but just can't quite reel it in. Queens with a shorter field. Lake airs it out right away, looking for Ramick. Ramick goes up, 2 hands, makes a grab.
Nice grab there.
Queens getting on the board after a few shaky points. All of a sudden, it's 2-1. Toronto leads.
Good defensive pressure there from Nancy Yang. Trying to make up for the low throw.
Toronto leads Queens 2-1. I would say undeniably these are the two favorites, but other solid performances we saw this week. Surprisingly, Carleton came through the qualifier. They looked really solid, had a bunch of sort of younger, good players. I wouldn't be surprised to see them sticking around over the next few years. They looked really good. And yesterday we had a chance to do Western, and they're fighting for the bronze with McGill. Western looked really good too.
Western did look really good.
Whole host of good players, and if they can keep some of them around, I wouldn't be surprised to see them fighting for a national title. But right now, it's all about Toronto versus Queens. Queens trails 2-1. Take a look at their defensive unit here. Again, as most university teams do, they tend to run a lot of the same bodies on O and on D. It helps develop their versatility, but of course, they need to rely on some of their stars as the game moves along. Getting set to pull. Kerry Lake with the pull. Nice pull upwind there. Kimura with the disc in the middle. Looks like a zone defense here from Queens. Lamb on the close sideline. Looking for Huang.
Lim.
Huang with it
on the
now.
side. It's a nice floaty disc out to Azucena. Track down. Finds Lim. Son to Huang. Huang looking through the middle to Kimura. Kimura gets to Santos on the side. Carolyn Moo streaking deep. Oh.
Nice pressure defense there. Isabel Blackney. Late read on the disc, but
Gets her
eyes
hands
up and made the play. Blackney there playing deep in the zone. Dos Santos had eyes on her target down there. Fired it up, but Blackney just really quick to turn the corner and make the play. Cicino with it now. Airs it out.
Big
Looking
throw
for
deep.
a target. Can't quite locate Blackney. Trying to do it at both ends. Toronto going to have a bit further of a field to go here. Looks like they're just going to set person-on-person defense. Watch for Kimura to be taken over here.
Kimura to Azucena. Azucena finds Lauren. Kimura again. Kimura has Carolyn Moo coming down. Wu with the disc. Looking for Dos Santos. Around to Kimura.
Kane working hard on defense on Kimura. That's a tough matchup.
Kimura has Azucena under. Just a tiny bit overshot.
Looking for those uplines. It seems to be a theme of the week. We've seen, we saw the Queens men's team really aggressively use the upline cutting. And, here we've seen Queens and Toronto both do it. I think it's one of the, most simple patterns introduced to university students as they join in on programs. It's an aggressive look. You get the disc in power positions. And certainly, but
There's been a lot of, poach defense, though, on the upper lines. There, for example, there are two Queens defenders right there.
Wong with it now. Sure enough, Toronto makes the play.
Nice
But gifted a short
Kyoto.
field.
Aguda.
Kimura's going to slowly walk up to the disc, see if she can marshal her team in for a goal here. Kimura goes inside. High release.
Hand
Partially blocked.
picked up by Lily Wang.
Nice cut.
Nice grab.
Nice grab. Partially hand blocked there by Kane. Heck of a matchup there, but nice catch. Toronto takes the lead 2-1. Sorry, that's 3-1. Toronto leads Queens. University Championship final here. Live from Montreal, we're at St. John Vianney College prep school here. Beautiful facility. 6 turf fields, 1 grass field. Really nice facility for this event. Been awesome games happening all the way through Friday's qualifier. We saw a great matchup there, Western and Carleton. We have a great matchup here. We see Queens in yellow, Toronto in blue. And Queens, largely regarded as the favorite coming into this event, but Toronto, saying that they're not listening to any of that, and they're up 3-1.
I think Toronto may have a little bit more depth to their team. Most of the players have played previously before, whether in juniors or over the summer in club.
it really helps. We talked about this last broadcast, but certainly same goes here in the women's division. Playing club over the summer makes a big difference to your game. Gives you more practice repetitions against better opponents. That's something you said earlier is, the better opponents that you get to play against, they really raise your ability in here, potentially taking a step down from club, but really accelerates their development. Kinoshita now guarded by Dos Santos, number 1 on number 1. That's a heck of a matchup in the handler area there. Lake with it. Upfield. Collard. Lee Pai tries to get both hands on it, can't quite drag it in.
Nancy Yang picking up the disc for U of T.
If you're tuning in and watching this on ultimatecanada.tv, make sure to send us a shout out on Twitter, Snapchat, whatever you want, Instagram, Ultimate Canada. Make sure we're excited to know that everyone's watching this broadcast here. Queens and Toronto, heck of a matchup in the wind and rain. And right now it's Chan with the disc for Toronto. Again, a turn by Queens results in a chance for another break. Toronto, Chan into the middle.
Nice push defense there from Queens, stopping the open lane.
Yang airs it out. Lee Pai, sort of a tentative block out there, makes it happen in any case. Kira Lee Pai, a product of Stratford Hall Secondary. Played on the national junior team, played a few years of club for Alpha. And right now it's Kinoshita striking deep. If Queens wants to make it happen, they want to use Kinoshita. And right now it's Lee Pai attacking. Dos Santos there, just over Lee Pai's head. Got both hands on it, but couldn't reel it in. Second time she sort of had a tentative looking catch. See if maybe that's just a little bit of finals jitters. She's been a strong player for a few years now. I'm sure she'll take the time and fix that uncharacteristic drops there.
No doubt the disc is a little wet as well.
Yang goes inside Chan with it. Looking Dos Santos covered tightly by Kinoshita. Kinoshita poach block. Ooh. Might have just been enough there as Kinoshita came flying across and Aguda just couldn't quite bring it in. Sometimes, a little bluff, ghost block, phantom, sometimes that's enough.
Kinoshita with the disc. Looking for a reset to Carrie Lake. Nicely guarded by Reeve Chan. Oh, nice grab.
Good patience there.
Up the line.
Bethany Wong there with a nice grab. Now it's Kinoshita to Wang. Got it. Queens back on the board. 3-2 Toronto leads.
Nice work from Queens.
Toronto leads this Canadian University Ultimate Championships live from Montreal. Thanks a lot for tuning in, ultimatecanada.tv. We got the rest of this game. Hopefully you had a chance to join us for an exciting men's division final, Toronto versus Queens. Queens jumped out to an early lead and just rode that all the way to the end. Toronto found some life in the second half, but it was too little too late as the cap went. And Queens marched their way to a second straight Canadian University Championship. Kudos there. I think it's a product of good coaching. It's a good developmental system, and of course they have some star players as well to boot. And right now, speaking of star players, we've got Laura Kinoshita on the Queens side, and on the Toronto side, we've got players like Lauren Kimura and Crystal Dos Santos that are really logging a lot of heavy minutes for Toronto. Queens set to pull from the downwind end zone. Rain pittered out a little bit. Still definitely coming down, but not the typhoon we were experiencing before. Disc certainly a little slick. Wind not too high, as we're kind of protected by the nice colored trees on the far sideline there. Kinoshita pulls just past half. Kimura and her crew hustle up to the disc.
Huang picks up. Kimura with the disc. Queens putting on a sort of loose zone.
You know what I'm seeing here, Miriam, is a zone coverage with Kinoshita taxiing on Lauren Kimura. So we have a zone over the rest of the field, but Kinoshita is just playing one-on-one on Kimura, but doesn't stop Kimura from earning some space on the hip break side. Looking upfield. Kinoshita on the mark. Kimura bends it to the open side. Kinoshita returns back to her check. See there, Kimura dragging Kinoshita out of the play. I think that's the play you have to do. Mm-hmm. Of course, Kimura, you want her around the disc, but at the end of the day, if she's got a one-on-one coverage through a zone, sometimes you want to just let her leave and take advantage of the numbers on the other side. And there you saw a tough drop there by Kimura on the far sideline. It was just a bit low. Tried to get down for it and couldn't make it happen. We'll see if this Queens defensive offense can make it happen. High stall count. Kinoshita, two-hand grab, airs it out. Hayworth tracking. Blackney with a nice grab on the far side. Guarded tightly by Hayworth. Back to the middle. Kane with it. Kane right on the doorstep. See if they can get this upwind break. Kane bends it. Just off the hand. There's that end zone miscommunication there on the far sideline as, it was a bit jumbled. I don't think they had quite got into their vertical set. Tried for it anyway. It was probably there, just couldn't quite pull it in. It could be the conditions, could just take her eye off the disc. But nonetheless, Toronto's back on offense, and Kimura is commanding her troops, looking for something. Goes inside out, over the top, right on the money to Azucena. Azucena to the middle.
Carolyn Wu. Nice throw from Kimura. Rev Chan to Lim. Lim looking for Lily Wang.
And there's the sort of mistakes that Toronto can't make if they want to keep running away with this game. Right now they lead 3-2, and they were pretty much blemish-free for the first 3 points, but now they're starting to falter a little bit, and this Queen squad is just too strong to let that happen.
Foul called.
Airs it out, Kinoshita, under it. Gets it over Kimura, nice grab there. Kimura tight on the mark. Goes up line, Blackney with it now, looking upfield.
Blackney looking up the line. Oh,
there's a
way to
one-handed
track
grab.
that down.
Serena Wong didn't get the last one, makes good on this one, and Queens ties it up at 3s. We saw an early surge from Toronto as they played through the wind and rain. I want to say it's dying off a little bit, but kind of picking back up right now. But Queens, just too strong, too sturdy of a bunch. They've been here before, and they're showing that they have the experience, and they're making it happen. Looks like a timeout called by Toronto. So yesterday, coaches Karina Gov, Jessie Wu, Andrea Kurahashi, and Sam Cheeto, they made the sort of executive decision to call a timeout early in that Western game when Western led. And then Toronto came back with sort of 5 out of the next 7, 6 out of the next 8. And that's the sort of play I think that they're trying to make here. Settle everyone down. Yes, the conditions are tough. Yes, this is the national final. But at the same time, this is just another game. And Toronto is a strong enough bunch to play, right alongside this Queens team as we've seen already this game. But it's just Queens who's gone on the last run.
I think it's just simple adjustments Toronto needs to make. Simple fundamentals of just catching and having confidence in your catches. A lot of uncharacteristic drops. But other than that, their defensive flow is very smooth. Queen's definitely super gritty, though.
Observer group here, all women for this women final, including Sheila, Sandra, Christiane. Observers are here to, make sure they uphold the spirit of the game and help players with any sort of rules that they're trying to figure out as the game goes along. In a perfect world, the observers leave it in the hands of the players. But, if they're there to settle any disputes in a timely manner, of course, they're helping keep the pace of the game as well.
Yeah.
Right now, we're in the Women's Division National Final Championship game. Toronto versus Queens. Toronto in blue, Queens in gold. Score is 3-3. Played about 25 minutes of this game. I think given the conditions, I wouldn't be surprised to see this game go to the time cap.
I don't think so.
We saw the men's game go to the time cap as well. And right now we're a ways into this one, and it's only 3-3. But players battling hard against these conditions. We've already seen some great plays, some great throws from both sides. Right now, Queens pulling downwind.
Nice pull from Lana Remick.
Going to drop in front of Huang. Huang with it is now. Hits Kimura. Kimura looking upfield. Kimura
Queens with the zone.
Looking to do damage with her throws.
Nice throw from Lily Huang.
Aguda to Kimura. Kimura, dangerous. Seeing too good down there. Nice tall target, but guarded by Blackney as well, who's also tall. Inside shot, beautifully done to the far sideline, just off the mitts. Tran had a chance to track that one down, but just sort of backpedaled herself into a corner there. Couldn't bring it down. Now we'll see this Queen squad, see if they can go. Airing it out. Kinoshita guarded by Kimura. This time looks like Kimura's going to get the better of her. Got a better read on that one right off the bat. Looks like they're going to be looking to huck relentlessly to Kinoshita. Earlier, Kinoshita got the better of Kimura on the close sideline, and there, Kimura with a better read on it and tracked that one down. That's going to be an awesome matchup for the rest of the game. Right now, Kimura goes inside out. That one's just going to sit a bit low. Tran getting down for it, but couldn't make it happen. Now they've got a short field here as Carrie Lake goes straight into the end zone.
Looks like there's a pick call.
Yeah, and Serena Wong escaped pretty easily, has no coverage almost. I'm sure the pick happened a little bit earlier, and she'll send it back to Carrie Lake. Lake's going to hang onto the disc there. Looks like Wong's actually set up in the bail position here. Into the end zone.
Run.
That's
nice run from Cicchino.
Amanda Cicchino with the goal from Carrie Lake. Nice focus there. Sometimes it's tough. We saw in the last game, Queens versus Toronto in the men's division, that Toronto scored a goal. It was called back on a pick, and then they couldn't make it happen right after that. And there, Queens shows, they're mentally tough enough to have a goal called back, and then they work it in the other side.
Absolutely.
Good focus there. They now lead 4-3. They've gone on a 3-1 run here.
It's interesting comparing the end zones of the men's Queens team and like the women's Queens team. How, for example, in this point, they really moved the disc totally across the field, had an open throw. Versus the men's who use quick dishes and a lot of up-the-line throws. It's just a different way of doing things.
Yeah, and if you ask me, I actually prefer this method.
I do too.
It's it requires a certain amount of discipline and patience to work the disc side to side before opening up the freebie. We saw in the last game McGregor and Mackenzie really just going hard up line. And of course, when you're skilled like that, it's something that you can do when you've got the quickness and speed. But it's not going to work forever. And right now, I think this Queens women's squad showing good discipline around the end zone.
Yeah.
Queens set to pull. Ramick with the pull.
Huang picking up for U of T. Not a lot of options downfield. Looking to Lim.
Eerily similar zone to their men's program as well. It's a little 2-3-2. Heck of a grab.
Nice grab from Azucena to Kimura.
Kimura gets the dish. She's always looking over the top. She's always looking to do some damage. And sure enough, airs one out right on the money to Lim. What a visionary shot. Kimura finds a little pocket of space and just paints Lim into it. Right now, Azucena has it. Looking up line, decides to go to Huang in the backfield. Huang to the far sideline. Chan with it now. Chan, outside in, shot just a little too far for Kimura. Couldn't track that one down. Had a little space going up line. It looks like Kimura and Kinoshita sharing some words here. Maybe caught up in each other's feet. Both are all right. Calmer heads prevail. And Queens, who struggled a little to start this game, has now gone 3 straight goals. They currently lead 4-2.
Kinoshita going deep. Up the line is a little bit too far for Wong.
So Toronto has a shorter field. Just when I think the rain's about to die down, it just picks right back up again. If you're watching on the stream, I don't know if you can tell, players are very wet. Umbrellas littering the sideline. We've got a beautiful cats and dogs umbrella right in front of us. It's always nice as long as it's not blocking any of the view. It's cute to look at. We've got Kimura now with the disc. 4-3 Toronto trails to Lamb. Lamb on the far sideline.
That would be Lim.
Just a little low for Huang on the far side. Again, we've seen it, all week long. It's easy for us up here in the booth to watch the players and be critical on their downwind throws, just of being a little bit too low. But they just, a little bit of height goes a long way going downwind. We can tell you that much as Kinoshita escapes for some yards.
Cicchino with the disc.
Kinoshita now.
Wong to Lake. Lake looking for black knee. Gonna be a difficult throw.
Instead goes Kinoshita versus Kimura, another matchup. This time just drifts just out of bounds. That's going to be an exciting matchup to watch all game long. I love it when the two teams sort of starred players just cover each other. And this time, Kimura's going to unload to Dos Santos, drifting, maybe a bit too far. Dos Santos lays out. Oh, right off the hands.
Nice bid from Dos Santos. I think that's maybe one of the first times I've seen her lay out. She's usually quick enough. That was nice.
Yeah, got her wheels going there. Went for the trailing egg grab just off of her hands. And it's obvious that the team is putting it all on the line here. As Queens walks it up, goes over the top, hanging. Kimura gets the better of Kinoshita this time. Ding, ding, round 4. Those two are going at it aggressively. I like it. Kimura's going to tap this disc in right away. See if she can just make it happen. The end zone patience here just hasn't been there from Toronto. Maybe it's just been good coverage. Bends one around. Azucena on the far sideline. Hits Dos Santos. Just through her hands. Almost there. Good patience, good cutting, and just the final execution is what missing. I think that's all we can say for Toronto, because we've seen them work the disc so well all the way to the end zone, but they just can't quite execute. And right now they trail 4-3 as the rain really starts to cook again.
Looking deep to Kinoshita. Many players.
Oh.
Kinoshita comes down with it.
Looks like there's maybe an injury. Nope, everyone's all right. It's going to be to the close side here.
Giacchino with the disc.
Goes back to Kinoshita. Nice one-handed grab. Kinoshita had a pair of beautiful skies. It's like Azucena's finding her. Oh, my goodness.
Game of tips there. Black knee with the disc. Finds Ramick.
One-handed grab. Lana Ramick makes the grab, and Queens makes it happen. And earlier in the point during that sky, you could see Azucena grasping at her mouth. She may have been wise to take an injury sub, but I think she's tough as nails. She gutted that point out, but now it looks like she's laboring, grabbing her mouth. Maybe in a bit of that pile up there with Kinoshita making that grab. But nonetheless, Queens battled that throw upwind going out, and Ramick with the one-handed grab to finish it off. They now lead 5-3. Queens on a 4-point run. They were trailing 3-1 earlier in this game, went on a 4-point run, and now they lead 5-3. And that's just a testament to that program, as we saw earlier in the men's division. It seems like they got a similar thing going on. Just battle-tested group, played a lot of games, have an experienced bunch, and they've been able to come back from comebacks almost every game this weekend.
Yeah, definitely an impressive streak from Queens. U of T is definitely there, especially energy-wise. Their offense is very good. It's just small errors on the end zone.
Yeah, I think can't say much more than that. Toronto's been there. They've made a lot of really nice plays, and it just comes down to what team can put it in a bit quicker than the other team, and that's just what's happening here. Is they've found Queens has found success a couple times in the upwind, a couple times in the downwind, and right now it's just Toronto who's had really good midfield play, but it's just been their end zone that's been burning them.
Yeah.
Yang
like
with
a
it.
Zone from Queens. Yang with the disc.
Sees Dos Santos with some space on the far sideline. Bends it in. Huge block there.
Kane
Sarah
with
Kane.
D.
Carrie Lake now. Lake airs it out. Has a target striking.
Big
Perfect throw. Carrie Lake finds Tess Whitman for the goal. Really nicely done there. Wasting no time. Quick transition offense. It is now 6-3. Toronto needs to find a way to get out of this funk. This is not too dissimilar to the game we just saw. Toronto, a quick early start, led 2-0, led 3-1, and then all of a sudden, Queens Kingston just rolling here, finding some rhythm, and that was Whitman striking immediately after the turnover and getting a nice shot from Lake. Looks like they're calling another timeout. I think it's worth spending another time out here. They definitely need to settle the troops. From our vantage here, it's really not just going to be, a one thing fix. This is just, it's purely executional. They've got all the right motion. They've got all the right action. They just need to, someone needs to make a big play. And,
Exactly.
on the Queen's side, you've seen Kinoshita with a few. You've seen Blackney with a few. You've seen Lake with a few beautiful throws. And really, it's just who can step up at the right time. And right now, Queen's stepping up. And who's going to answer for Toronto? You have to look to your Two Goods, your Azucenas, your Agudas, your Kimuras. Those are going to be the players that you need to provide a lift for the rest of the group. Crystal Dos Santos, Lauren Kimura.
Lily Wang. Reeve Chan.
Toronto needs to find something in them to make the play. You can't help but think if they get one, they're going to get two or three. That's just the sort of group. It's a game of runs. Toronto had a run earlier. Queens had a bigger run now. You half expect Toronto to go on their big run anytime soon here. 6-3, Queens leads. Toronto set to receive. Katie Too Good out there, providing a little bit of height. Here comes the pull. Little roller, going to get past half. It's going to start circling back and drifts to just around half. Kane on the mark. Kinoshita covering Kimura. Looks like they're going to do the same thing. A zone with Kinoshita covering Kimura. Now, last time they sent Kimura deep, they got her out of there and took advantage of numbers. I like that move, and there she goes. She escapes upfield. See if she can stay up there.
Reeve Chan with disc. Back to Lim.
Right now, Toronto would be wise to bring Too Good and Dos Santos back. Dos Santos is too valuable just to hang her deep. Lee Pai is easily covering both offenders right now. I don't see that disc coming up over the cup. It's going to be too tough of a throw. There you go. Kimura is marshalling her under. Too Good's coming under, and now they're going to see if they can take advantage of the numbers. Toronto needs to try to outnumber this Queen's defenses. There you go. Free pass to Too Good. Too Good looking up the field. Kimura's not there. Covered tightly by Kinoshita. Nice
Through the middle
shot.
to Reeve Chan.
If I'm Dos Santos right now, I'm thinking I have to get involved.
Yeah.
Looks like there's a discussion on there. Play tap back in. Huang with it. Finds Kimura. Kimura looking upfield. Goes
Has
over the top.
Lily
Beautiful
Huang.
throw. Lily Huang. Dos Santos striking. Ooh. Wanted that one instead. Chose the safe option. Far side to Reeve Chan. Chan. Nice shot around to Kimura. Kimura just took her eye off it for 1 second there. Looked like she was, looking for the next pass before she made the catch. Sometimes it's going to happen, especially with the tough conditions. I expect Kimura to get this back. Tough D on Kinoshita here. Lee Pai makes good on her catch this time. Covered by Dos Santos. This is another nice matchup. Too Good.
Looking around.
And there's that
Nice
big
hand
mark.
block
Yeah.
from Too Good.
Dos Santos.
High release to Dos Santos.
Isolated Too Good downfield. Instead, Chan. Nope. Going to go to the backfield. Huang around to Kimura. Brilliant.
Nice throw.
See if Kimura can do some damage around the end zone. Has a
got
streaking option. Lim cashes in. Toronto gets their goal that they needed. And that is so critical here. They cut the deficit now. 6-4. Queen still leads, but stop the bleeding a little bit. And just like we said, possibility here of a Toronto run. Looks like Queen's going to take a timeout.
Timeout.
6-4, Queens leads over the University of Toronto. This women's final, Canadian University Championships, live from Montreal. We're at St. John Vianney College, northeastern tip of Montreal Island. Right now, Queens just called a timeout. Looks to settle themselves. They went on a little bit of a run, and then they just got Toronto held their offensive point. Sometimes that's a nice timeout call there, I think, as sometimes you go on a little bit of a run, and then you have to send that offensive unit out, and they maybe just take a few extra seconds to collect themselves and see what they can do about it. Looks like a stacked unit there for the Toronto squad. Kimura set to pull alongside Too Good, Dos Santos,
Aguda, Chan. Queens is yet to set a line.
Time checked in. All set to pull here. Looks like some players on Queen's B team have rolled in here to help cheer on their teammates. Of course, champions of the men's division. They got their jackets on and they're cheering on Queens. They lead 6-4 right now. University of Toronto fighting back a little bit here. Kimura on the mark.
Bethany Wong with the disc, looking around to Kinoshita. Nice try. Fortunately, it falls out of the hands of Laura Kinoshita.
Kimura goes straight away, finding Dos Santos. That's going to hang Wang under it. Dos Santos, two hands, big upward break. All of a sudden, just like that, 2 minutes later, they cut the deficit to 1. Lauren Kimura with a big bomb to Crystal Dos Santos, and they now lead. Queens still leads, but deficit's been cut to 1, 6-5. And just as we predicted, Toronto's taking their turn to go on their run.
Following that timeout, U of T made proper adjustments, capitalized on missed throws from Queen's University. Looks almost like an identical line from U of T. Wanting to maintain their streak, maybe get another point up on the board. Kimura with the pull. Nice pull. Carrie Lake picking up for Queens. Bethany Wong. Giacchino with the disc. Up the line to Wong. Around to Carrie Lake. Selena Tran having a hard time covering Giacchino. Big up.
Oh, my goodness.
Ooh.
Couple lucky plays there for Queens as it hung up. Too Good making a nice block. Good reactions from Kinoshita to make it happen.
Crystal on Laura Kinoshita. Definitely wanting to stop that.
Dos Santos covering Kinoshita. It's going to hang. Kinoshita under it. Dos Santos gets a piece of it. Kinoshita reels it in the corner. And Queens gets back on the board after suffering 2 quick ones. They get it right back. Kinoshita made 2 unbelievable plays, one off a deflection, and then Dos Santos gets a piece of that one, and she reels it in. Good reactions, nice playing from Laura Kinoshita. Gets Queens right back on the board. Queens leads 7-5. Toronto showing that they're going to be able to get blocks as they got a few there. And you don't want to say lucky, but sometimes it's better to be lucky than it is to be good. Kinoshita's both there in that scenario. Brought down a couple good ones. Looks like they're going to take an early half. Oh, no, hang on.
Nope, not half yet, I don't think.
Score reads 7-5.
Half at 8.
Half will be at 8. I know it's hard. Queens getting that upwind point. Kinoshita reels it in off of 2 deflections for the goal. And Queens will now be pulling.
Make sure to catch your D's, folks.
Ramick lost the handle on that one, probably a little slick. And it looks like Toronto will be gifted a short field here, only about brick marking in. And it's Lily Huang to pick up. Huang with it. Has Reeve Chan striking. Couple options here. Goes around. Dos Santos, always available in the backfield.
Nice grab from Selena Tran.
Tran, lefty, spins it out to the side. Huang with it now. Huang looking upfield. Airs it out.
Has a Lin Azucena. Nice try from a Lin.
Nice bid there. Azucena bids for that one. Almost gets it. Just off her one hand. She sort of dove sideways to get that one. Tough read in the wind as it bent over. Looked like Lily Huang was at a high stall count situation and did the right thing by just putting it down in the end zone and even gave her receiver a chance. Right now it's Dos Santos on the mark.
Around is a little bit too far for Ticino. Lily Huang again to Alina Zuzina, not completed.
And how many times have we seen that today and yesterday? A quick block, and they go for the quick transition, and they're just too hurried, maybe a little too excited for each other.
Yeah. Looks like there's an injury call. There's a sub called. Laura Kinoshita coming in for Ticino, I think, and Kimura replacing Selena Tran for U of T.
So it'll be a Queen's disc.
Reeve Chan covering Laura Kinoshita. It's going to go deep. Kinoshita picks it up.
And clipped again in the face. Looks like she's all right. Lily Huang trying to get that block. Small discussion. Kinoshita has been all over the field today. She's been making it happen with the throws, but more importantly, she's been striking deep and making that happen. She seems to come down with everything. Tough little dump cut there. Lake.
Nice gainer from Carrie Lake. Up to Wong.
Wong calls a timeout.
Called. I don't know if there are any. There are more timeouts.
Queens takes their second timeout and as many points. I don't mind that call if you're Wong. It's end zone situation. This would be a 2-point swing to reestablish that bigger lead.
This is a point for half of them.
It's a point to take half. And I think, if I'm Queens, I don't mind that. Yes, you're using up your floater, I believe. But at this point, that might be all it takes. And especially when we're not looking at a long second half, it's not going to go to 15. I think that's a fine decision there.
I agree.
7-5, Queens leads Toronto right now, knocking on the doorstep to make that 8-5 and take half. Bronze medal game on the other side, Western versus McGill. If I was a betting man, I would say Western's going to take that one. I am a betting man, so I'm going to say that. But they just look very strong. Western Ontario, when we watched them play against Toronto yesterday, gave Toronto a really good game in that last round matchup.
Is it's Western versus McGill?
That's right.
The scoreboard, from what I can see, says 2-10. I feel like that
likely favors Western, or maybe the wind blew it. In any case, I would hazard after watching Western play twice.
They're very solid.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were running away with the bronze medal match right now.
I might bet you though that McGill might win.
I'll take it.
The extra hot dog. Ooh. Ooh.
Kinoshita in a lot of traffic there. Pretty heavy collision there. Serena Wong threw that up line to her. Natalie Lim in there.
Foul called. No contest. That's going to be a point.
It's going to be a point, and that's going to be halftime. Kinoshita throwing her weight around earlier just got up huge in a big pile, and there in traffic, no contested foul. Was definitely hit there. She had caught the disc, and that's going to count as a goal. Kinoshita's third of the afternoon. And right now, Queens just executing better. That's the story of the game. They take half 8-5. We're going to take a small break and be right back with the Canadian University Ultimate Championship Women's Final. Welcome back, Ultimate fans, to the 2016 Canadian University Ultimate Championships live from Montreal. We're joining this women's final at halftime here. Queens leads 8-6, rather 8-5 over University of Toronto. And I'm Kevin Underhill in the booth, joined by Miriam Tingle for this finals. Miriam, tell me about the first half here.
First half has been a good show. Both teams putting up big plays. U of T struggling a little bit with the completions on throws and catching, but they've definitely still been putting in the effort and are
I think you nail it right on the head there. Toronto has been really dialed in for most of the field. 80% of the field just haven't been able to capitalize right at the end zone. We've seen a lot of good points like this where they move the disc up. See Kimura on the far side. She's been commanding the offense. Goes over the top to Too Good. That's going to try to stay in. Just drifts out of bounds. Good effort there by Katie Too Good to try to make that grab. And it comes down to just that last 10 yards, and we see it again as they've worked the disc up, and in the last 10 yards, they just can't quite capitalize. Queens, quite the opposite, actually. They've had a couple struggles in their own zone, but then as soon as they get up by the end zone, they've just been absolutely dialed in, making it happen. Disc on the far side right now. Disc in the middle to Ramick. Ramick with it. Not much motion upfield. Disc gonna float, hanging up. 3 people had an opportunity to grab that. Now it's on the close side. Blackney has a target upfield.
Finds Giacchino. Giacchino looking for maybe Wong deep, calling her under.
Instead, goes into the backfield, just out of the hands of Ramick there, just over top. Had a chance to hit that around, even set up her fake sequence there so she could hit it, but just fired it over the top. Ramick couldn't quite drag it in. Now they're going to air it out.
Deep, looking for Alin Azucena. Nice throw from Lily Huang.
Toronto gets right back on the board. Awesome point there. We've seen that now a few times from both teams, is a turnover and then a quick strike for a goal. We saw it earlier as Lake chucked an absolute dart to Whitman as she struck deep. And now Toronto doing it in their chance. 8-6. 8-6. Queens leads over Toronto right now. Championship match. Bringing you live action here all week long on UltimateCanada.tv. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Appreciate all the comments on Twitter. Positive or negative, all press is good press, I suppose. But thanks for sending out the love. We really appreciate it here in the booth. And we saw exciting Friday qualifying matchups, really good matchups in both the men's and women's divisions. Yesterday we saw pool play action here at the CUUC Tier 1. And today we've had awesome, albeit sometimes quiet, action as we had audio technical difficulties for the first half of the day. But now we're bringing you live women's championship. Toronto just punched in their 6th goal of the game. They trail 8-6 right now. And as the wind starts to kick up a little bit here, you can't help but feel if Toronto can get one in this upwind end zone, they should be able to cap off the 2-point swing and work it down into the end zone. So all it's going to take is one of these upwinders, and we could have ourselves a 1-point game. Disc rolls just about to half field. Knocked down. Kicked a little aggressively there by Reeve Chan. Certainly not intentionally. She's looks like it's Carrie Lake here is going to walk the disc up just a few yards to where it was kicked from. Wind really starting to kick up there. Queens looking for Lee Pai. Couldn't quite make it happen. Kira Lee Pai, the rookie out of Vancouver, has had a few sort of tough ones there, especially on that far sideline with low throws. And right now, Toronto gives it right back, though.
Nice up-the-line effort from Christine Zhang for U of T. Bethany Wong with the disc now. Nice swing across to Carrie Lake.
Lake has been commanding in the backfield all game, and this time,
Or
sure enough,
Kinoshita goes deep.
Oh, two-handed swat. Meet me at the summit. She'll take care of that one. She gets up and gets the block.
Too good for that one.
And now it's Nancy Yang with the disc. See if Toronto can complete it. Dos Santos turning in the lanes, guarded by Kinoshita. There's another good matchup. Dos Santos gets a break for a shot. Looking upfield. has Hayworth going deep, doesn't hit it. Instead, goes back to Nancy Yang. Good defense there. Carrie
Lake
Lake.
gets a hand on that.
Not only can she do it with her throws, there she gets that one right back for the block. Bethany Wong jogs up to it, taps the disc in. Has options in the backfield, looking for Lake. Instead, opts for Collard. Collard looking up line. Big bid there. So that's Bethany Wong laying it out for that one.
Definitely got tripped up a little bit there.
Tough to see if there was a call here. Think there was a call?
I'm not sure. Might be needing an injury sub. Hard to say if there'd be a call. Don't know if she would have had a bid.
So she's going to stay in the game there. Bethany Wong, huge bid. And the disc will be coming back. She is going to make a call as her feet got tangled up there. Christine Zhang.
Looks like there's no contest.
Bethany Wong right at the front of the goal. Sometimes a tricky spot to score from. Instead, resets it to Collard. Collard now goes outside. Kinoshita been oh so strong, especially around the end zone. Kinoshita looking around. Tight mark from Dos Santos. Back to the middle, Wong. One-handed
Nice grab
grab.
from Bethany Wong to Lake.
No continue. Has to go back to Wong. It's hanging. Wong, Kinoshita, Dos Santos, all in the area, but Kinoshita comes down. How many has she come down with today? Goes over the top, Wong. Wong now. Wong looking upfield. Wants the inside shot. No one's cutting for it. Instead, Kinoshita gets in the backfield. Toronto defense stifling upfield, pushing the handlers back.
U of T doing a good job of stopping the up-the-line passes from the handlers.
Oh, and there's a nice
That's
block.
it.
Christine Zhang gets her hand in there, makes the play on the disc.
Yang picking up. Timeout called. This is an exciting point.
Lots of turns both ways. Lots of good defense you saw there. Queens had the disc right at the mouth of the goal, and they pushed them back all the way past the brick mark. That's just great defense, great team defense for Toronto as they provided no options, and they forced them to throw bails. Timeout here called. Toronto, knowing the importance of this point here, they need to get this one. Like we talked about earlier, those upwinders, even if it's not so significant of a wind, is still so valuable as, oftentimes that results in a downwind break as well. Team slowly clearing the field here, giving the players a chance. This has been a long point. Right now, Toronto trails 8-6. Bringing you live action from the Canadian University Ultimate Championships from Montreal. Saw an exciting men's final right here before with the same names. Queens versus Toronto, and Queens just too strong. Toronto couldn't answer, and they walked away there with a victory in the hard cap. Queens celebrating their second of two back-to-back championships under Coach Galbraith. It's pretty exciting for that bunch for sure, and with the development they have, certainly they may lose a few centerpiece players, but at the same time they've developed so many good, strong, younger players that they will be able to have a good program for years to come, no doubt.
No doubt. Who's the coach for Queen's University?
The coach of the men's program is Pete Galbraith.
No. Oh, man. Nice D from Kira. Lee Pai.
Gets it back on D there. Had a few drops earlier in the game, but, that's got to feel good as she makes a huge run through D. Gives Queens a short field. Ooh, inside break opportunity.
Nice throw from Bethany Wong.
Collard with it now. Collard, all eyes on Kinoshita. Kinoshita looking around. Hits Lake. Lake has a target. Finds her target, and that's a goal. Queens. Big downwind hold there. After a few too many drops, Toronto had so many opportunities, I think 3 or 4 at least, to go upwind for the goal, and they just couldn't connect. At this point, you got to think Toronto's just going to pull out all the stops. They're going to ride their stars to the bitter end here. Looks like Kinoshita is out there almost every point. For Queens, I think they need to answer as we see Lauren Kimura take off her sweater, and she's going to hustle down there and try to lead this bunch with Aguda, Huang, Reeve Chan, Lim. They're going to send out Dos Santos again. Dos Santos played maybe everyone but 1 point here, but they need her now more than ever. And that was a good defensive pressure point for Toronto,
Absolutely.
But they need to capitalize on their O. Queens now leads 9-6. It's a women's championship match. University finals. Bronze medal game going on the other side, still waging on. Looks like Western and McGill. Let's get a score update there as soon as we can. So we see great players on both sides of that. Just narrowly missing out, no doubt, on this final. Like we saw in the men's division, any of these top 4 teams, they really could have the right to call themselves national champions. But I think we got it right here in the women's division. These are the 2 undefeated squads. Toronto in blue, Queen's University in gold, and the Queen's Gales are pulling now.
Lana Remick with the pull.
Nice pull on the sideline here. Huang is going to flip to Kimura. Kimura, field general here for Toronto. She's been doing it all day long with her throws. Looking at field, holding on to it. Looks for Aguda on the close side.
As you've seen out with the disc. Back to Kimura. Nice throw to Lily Huang.
That's the sort of vision you get from a player like Kimura. Cuts up line. Available, just couldn't get the throw off. You saw that high release. Oh!
Steph Lim struggles to hold on to that.
And that could just be the conditions and Lake goes straight away. Looking for a target. Ramick. Pressure D by Lim, but Ramick pulls it in. That's going to go for a goal. Queens with a huge upwind one, and that's the second time we've seen Lake hustle up to a disc and just boost it right off a turn, knowing that she can capitalize on her opponents not quite being ready for the fast break.
Yeah, definitely taking advantage of the quick transition and a striking receiver.
10-6. Queens now leads Toronto, and after Toronto went on their own little run, Queens has gone on, and I think the only difference here, both teams have had their respective runs, but Queens' runs have been 3, 4, 5 points. Toronto's have been 2 or 3 points, and at that point, that's the difference here, as they lead 10-6. Miriam, what do you think Toronto needs to do to get out of this funk and make it happen, go on a little run here?
Honestly, I think they should just start enjoying themselves. They're playing a good game against Queens. Looks right now they're a little feeling down, beaten, I think. If they just relax, focus on completions, I think they have all the talent and a good roster to come back in this game.
Yeah, no doubt, and I think it's just, we can beat a dead horse, but they just have to execute when they get near the end zone. See what they can do here upwind.
Yeah.
Sometimes these upwind holds are as good as 2. Kimura now to Huang in the middle. Huang looking upfield. Tight coverage there by the Queen's zone. Looks like good, nice faking by Kimura. Looks like it might actually be a zone again with the taxi on Kimura, and that's been really good.
It's a smart move by Queens.
Kinoshita shadowing Kimura on all these offensive points, and it's just been mistakes kind of like that have yielded these breaks. Looks like timeout called there. Bethany Wong collects the disc, calls the timeout. And again, this could be a strategy move by Coach Greg King. Little discussion here on the timeout call. Confirmed here. Reeve Chan there guarding Bethany Wong. Again, we saw this in the earlier game when in the men's final when Queens got a late turn. They called a timeout, burns 90 seconds off the clock, and we had got to bring up the discussion here about the whether or not that's spirited. If you're just looking to burn time off the clock, I think it's a fine move, strategical play. Nothing wrong with that.
I feel like at this point, if it is a strategic move, they have enough of a buffer on U of T that may not be entirely necessary.
They lead 10-6. This women's final, Canadian National Championships, University Edition, Tier 1. See Queens men's players gathering around on the sideline. They just won their national championships, stuck around to cheer on their women's team, showing them support. And right now their women's team has answered the bell. And Bethany Wong is set to pick up here as they set. Looks like they've got a few seconds to set. Observer crew out there to keep the pace. And again, I think strength of schedule has something to do with this, with this matchup. You're seeing Queens just a bit more strength down the line. and it might just be a depth thing, but it might also be a they didn't have to battle as much. Yesterday we saw Toronto in a tight game with Western, and that takes a toll. You have 3-4 of those tight games. I know Toronto played against Carleton and took them down, but it was tighter than you might have thought.
I think Queens actually did. I think they did lose a game to University of Ottawa.
That's right, actually, in pool play. But nonetheless, it's the amount of games, tight games you have to play, certainly take a toll. Right now, Wong with all kinds of time and space and cash in. And again, a 4-point run here for Queens. They cash in. Wong with the grab. Goals confirmed, and they take the lead now 11-6. Talked about it, at length, and I think pound for pound, like person for person, this Toronto and this Queens, this is a good matchup. But when it comes down to it, and we're right, at the moment, this Queens team has just stepped up, and it might just be a discipline system thing. Toronto, despite having strong depth, have still really relied on 1 to 3 players, whereas Queens have shared the load a little bit, especially on the defensive side of the disc.
Absolutely.
They've thrown a bunch of different zone looks, a product of having solid coaching, no doubt.
I'm pretty impressed by Queens, actually. I wasn't anticipating so many players to be so crucial. I thought that they would definitely rely on only a couple players, but the whole team is really talented, very athletic, and very gritty.
Yeah, I mean, grit is a really good word that comes to mind. You've seen them play hard defensive points that last multiple turns, and they never seem to get phased. They've, shown a lot of, exactly grit down the stretch here, especially. And Toronto, battled with them for that first little while, had an early lead, and just never have been able to recover. Seen players on both sides of the disc do well. Of course, Laura Kinoshita, one of those players that's been doing very well, provided an early spark when the team was down, had 2 or 3 huge skies.
Yeah, she's all right. Kidding, Laura Kinoshita, you're very good.
Lake with the pull, big upwind pull, drifting over half, creeping towards that brick mark, and see if Kimura can make some magic here. That's Yang picks it up. Yang looks to unload. Instead, goes to the backfield. Goes back to Yang. Yang with it.
Queens is doing a person-on-person coverage.
Dos Santos now. Dos Santos always dangerous with the disc. Going to the backfield to Yang. Just off her one hand. And that's another one of those instances we've seen from Toronto too many times today. As just push comes to shove. One mistake, and sometimes one mistake is all it takes. Carrie Lake walks up to the disc. Lake has Lee Pai under. Lee Pai this time makes all the best. Has it, looks up line, decides not to. Now has Lake going 2 hands up. Kimura makes the block in front of Lake. Hustles it up. She's going to air this one out. No. Holds back. Good coverage there. Looks like that's Cecchino there on defense. Jumped up to take away that huck.
Reeve Chan with the disc. Looking to Kimura. Kimura picks up. Nobody going.
Kira Lee Pai patrolling the deep space. Dos Santos and Hayworth both sort of drifting deep. I don't know if drifting is going to be enough here. Disc now on the close sideline. TJ Lin outside.
Nice grab from Kimura. Double team called.
Looks like the Queens player, Sarah Kane, called her out. Observer had already called her in. The disc will be tapped back in by Cecchino. Kimura going over the top. Wide open, Rev Chan with the grab. TJ Lim just a little bit too low. And again, we see Toronto's failure to execute down by the end zone. At the very least this time, they've got field position. See if they can put up a good defensive pressure here and force a quick turn. A shot there from Kimura. She found a streaking Reeve Chan.
Reeve Chan just putting it a little too far out in front for her receiver.
Lake float ones up.
Wong to Kane. Kane looking for Lee Pai.
Just a bit too low. And there's that early quick turn they were looking for. Yang's going to walk over and grab it. Yang looking upfield. Into the backfield for Kimura. Kimura analyzing. Goes high release to Rev Chan. Beautiful throw by Kimura. Aired it out. Dos Santos trying to get open. Can't. Instead, inside break. Huge block by Carrie Lake. Hand or foot block. That was beautiful. She got down there. Chan just couldn't quite make it happen.
Wong with the disc. She's an open black knee.
Wow, nice focus there by Kane to make the grab. Sees Lee Pai covered tightly by Dos Santos. There's another good matchup. They get tangled up in the middle, but Lee Pai jumps back to her feet. Inside shot. Far sideline. Nice grab. Kane with it now, looking upfield. Not too many options. Goes around to Carrie Lake. Lake will get up with one hand, make that grab. Sees her target in the end zone. Fires.
Whitman again.
Ooh, heavy collision. Looks like there might be a foul called there. Amanda Cicchino in the area. Tess Whitman also. Good defensive pressure there by Kimura. Tough to see from here what really shook down there. It looked like Whitman was the target, and Cicchino came in late. It's a nice defense there. TJ Lin and Lauren Kimura both in the area. I'm going to say that this is not going to be upheld. I don't think that was a foul. We're going to have to get an official call here pretty soon, though. Whether or not they're going to go to the observers. Looked to me like Cicchino came in a little bit late over the group there, and both players had already established position. We'll see what the observers come up with, though. And
looks like there's not going to be a call.
Whether or not the observers even had to make a rule, I think they just talked that one out, and Kimura will march the disc up to the front.
Queen setting up their zone.
Staple of the Queen's program is that zone. This looks like a 2-3-2. And they're taking turns shadowing Kimura. This time it looks like they've got Cicchino on her.
Zhang to Yang. Yang looking through the middle to Reeve Chan. Reeve Chan's going to throw it deep. She's got TJ. Lin. Nice grab
focus by
Hayworth.
Hayworth. Zhang now with it. Zhang has a target downfield. TJ Lin with it now. Back to the middle.
Chan looking for Dos Santos.
Wants the inside break. Covered. Instead, goes for Hayworth. Nice grab. Just collapses over the disc to make sure she catches it. Hayworth, number 87 in blue. To Yang. Kimura streaks open. Two-handed grab, and Kimura cashes in. Yang with a beautiful break. Nancy Yang goes around for Kimura. Cashes in. You have to wonder if it's going to be too little too late, as they showed really good patience and energy working the disc the entire 70 yards after that block.
Yeah.
And that's the Toronto Toronto we saw yesterday. That's the Toronto we saw in the first few points. See if they can bring that same Toronto Tula squad for the rest of this final. Score now 11-7 in favor of Queen's University. Not too much time here remaining. It's 4 o'clock local time. Cap will be going on in a few minutes. Offensive unit here strolls out for Queens Kingston. Looks like Christian Marceau, the crew chief observer here for this matchup, just announced that it will be 7 minutes for hard cap. Score 11-7. Not going to say it's impossible, but they're going to need some darn quick ones here. Tua set to pull. Queen's paper bag ultimate set to receive. That is not the horn. Offside called. That is unclutch. Delays the time a little bit. That was Toronto that went offside. Looks like we probably still have 5 or 6 minutes. The battle on the far side also wages on. McGill and Western fighting for that bronze medal. Update you on that game as soon as possible. Great play from both teams on that one. Our updates say that Western's kind of running away with it at the very end, but we'll get an official update on the score in a few minutes here. Pull from Toronto. Short one looks like they're setting up a little bit of a zone here. 3-person cup. Wong with it to Kinoshita. Kinoshita bends it.
Finds Ticino.
Right on the money. Kinoshita has been very strong this game. I would argue MVP on the Queen's side. Right now getting shut down by Azukena, though.
A round throw to Bethany Wong. Back to Kinoshita.
Right as this game is wrapping up, the Suns deciding that it might make an appearance.
Nice
Huge D by
from
Toronto.
Rev Chan.
Beautiful play, great read. Too Good helps both players up, and Toronto's going to get another chance, and they're going to want to make this one quick. From a strategical standpoint, they're going to see, if I was them, I'd be hucking right now. I'd be looking to move the disc into a power position and then attack the end zone, as they right now are down by 4. Not impossible, but certainly difficult. And Toronto's going to be looking to make it happen here. It's grabbed there by Zhang. Looking to the backfield. Beautiful cut. It's going up line into traffic. Nice
Picked
grab
up.
there, Rev Chan.
Lim goes down a little bit. She seems okay.
Natalie Lim shaking off the cobwebs there a little bit. Had a collision with Bethany Wong. Looks like she's going to take a sub. Lauren Kimura is going to come on for the injury sub. Whoop. Kimura or DeSantos, they're going to talk it out. Looks like it'll be Kimura. Good patience there, good focus by Reeve Chan to come in on the backside of that and clean up the garbage a little bit. Toronto's all set to go. Trailing 11-7 in this women's final matchup against Queens. Chan now with it. Has options. Airs it out. Kimura under it. Goes up strong. Huge D. Bethany Wong
Nice D
makes
from
the
Bethany
play.
Wong.
They hug it out. A little bit of contact there. No call. Bethany Wong got the inside position. Made a nice play. Tall order there for Kimura to have to go over her defender to make the grab. Put in a good effort, but Wong got the best for that time. Just now in the hands of Ticino. Goes inside. Nice grab there. Collard. Collard with it. Looking for Ticino backfield. Got her. Ticino looks for Kinoshita. Found it. Kinoshita looking to the end zone. Not there. Good defense by Toronto instead. Goes to the backfield. Collard. Collard two-handed grab. Looking for the inside break. Instead, no
Nice.
options. Tight D.
Nice downfield defense from U of T.
Kinoshita now. Back around to Wong. Wong guarded tightly there by Kimura. Kimura. Kinoshita. Good patience. Lee Pai with a nice grab. Number 9 on the far side. Guarded by Katie Too Good. Lee Pai wants the up line. Can't hit it. Instead goes for the inside break. Deflected disc. Couldn't quite connect with Laura Kinoshita on that one.
Nice defense from Alin. As you've seen us stopping that up line from Laura Kinoshita. Definitely hard. She's pretty fast. Lauren with the disc. Kimura.
Airs it out. Kimura floats this one up to Too Good. Too Good getting under it instead. Lee Pai. Oh my. Lee Pai and Kinoshita get their signals crossed there. Both of them caught the block. Deciding to share the load. Decided to offload that one to Kinoshita, but instead, Lee Pai will just get it right back.
Looks like things are getting a little bit sloppy for both teams here.
As this game winds down, Bethany Wong will collect the disc. Kimura covering Kinoshita in the backfield. Kinoshita with it now. Hits Lee Pai. No doubter there. Oh. And another missed cue. Kira Lee Pai.
Is that a hand block from Katie Too Good?
I think Too Good pressured her enough, and it looked like Lee Pai tried to hold back, and it just slipped out of her fingers at the last second. All the players sort of have an idea that this game will be wrapping up pretty soon here. Of course, both teams want to go out on top. Kimura and Kinoshita battling. Just not tapped in at the right spot. At any point, the last point could be the last one. Any point can be the last point at this point. Tongue twister, say that 3 times. Lots of discussion on the far sideline here. Observers hoping to keep the pace going. Little rules clarification here. Kimura and Kinoshita set up in the bail position for the 3rd time on this very possession. See what they can do here. Zhang at the front of the stack. Kimura goes up line again. Instead, Zhang looks to get it in the backfield. Just doesn't quite connect.
Collard streaking deep. Sorry, that is not Collard. Timeout?
Looks like another timeout called by Queens. I don't know if they have any left. Looks like there's a discussion on the field. I believe they've already used 3, but it looks like both teams get 2 per half, so that one's going to stand. Time dwindling now on Toronto's season as Queens in possession, calling the timeout, burning another 90 seconds off the clock. You know, this is 2 very separate emotions here. You've got Toronto. They're grinding. They're battling every point, knowing that, barring a miracle, that their season's all but wrapped up. And there's Queens. They've got the disc, knowing that they basically can do no wrong at this point, as they've almost got this one sealed. As the coaches, what do you say in the huddles here?
At this point, if I was on the Tula side, I would just say go out, have some fun, throw some discs, enjoy playing for probably the last game of the season, and have no regrets, you know.
And on the Queen side?
Keep doing what you're doing, guys.
Yeah, no kidding. Just got confirmation that the hard cap is in fact on, so this will be the last point of the game. Bethany Wong set to pick up. We saw a stronger Toronto team, I think, yesterday in the afternoon matchup, spreading the love around the whole team, everyone getting involved and doing damage.
Yeah.
And right now, like, Queens' zone has been able to neutralize that all game long, and the defensive pressure just hasn't been there, as Queens has also had, their fair share of options and good end zone execution. Kimura calling for a horizontal stack. Kinoshita applying a loose mark, airs it out. Kinoshita gets a piece of it, and then piece is just enough.
Enough. Bethany Wong picking up for Queens.
Talk about players from this Queen squad that have really stepped up. Of course, Laura Kinoshita, you expect her to be deadly every game, but you've seen sort of the unknowns that have showed themselves here.
Yeah.
The Chichinos, the Collards, Whitman scored a few deep goals. And those are the players that need to step up and show the depth of the team as they, will no doubt be the national champions just here in a few minutes here. Kimura in the backfield. Kinoshita guarding her tightly. It's funny, both players know that the game is over, but of course there's still pride on the line, and I'm sure that's a battle that'll wage on for years to come. Good defense there in the lanes. That's Collard again, just as we were singing her praises, making it happen. Ramich now.
Ramick to Wong. Kinoshita to Wong.
Lee Pai making good on that one, flips it to Ramick. Lee Pai strikes straight to the end zone. Instead, Ramick goes in the backfield there. It's two-handed grab there, Collard. Collard really asserting herself in the second half. Kinoshita earning. Kimura, nice aggressive mark. Pressures that one high. Collard,
nice
one-handed grab. Collard fires to Kinoshita. Kinoshita has some options. Collard right on the doorstep. She's kicked her boots off. Can she walk in? Goes up line. Connects. Chichino and your national champions, university level Tier 1, are Queens in both divisions. A Queens-Kingston sweep. Tremendous ultimate on display through the wind, through the rain. Really phenomenal stuff. Thanks a lot for joining us today. UltimateCanada.tv with Miriam Tingle. I'm Kevin Underhill. Thanks so much for tuning in, enduring our audio issues earlier today, but fighting through. And thanks a lot for watching. We appreciate all the support. And congratulations to Queens and Toronto for a heck of a game. Queens walking out on top here as gold medalists. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you.